And Sam, and welcome to What Are We Doing Here?
Let's get yapping.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to What Are We Doing Here? Well, you don't know
Episode 8.
for you guys. Well, yeah, you'll kind of know. We took a little break this last week because
Yep.
life was crazy. Life still is
We had
crazy.
a lot of shit going on.
We had a lot of stuff. I mean, we still have a lot of stuff going on, but we needed that week to kind of catch back up.
I mean, we had a crazy weekend, and then we went into a crazy week. You're moving. We're doing all of these different things.
Mm-hmm.
But daylight savings matching with the week we needed off makes a lot of sense.
Daylight savings screwed me up so bad. We talked about it, but I'm still tired. Like, I'm just now barely getting on, like, a normal sleep schedule.
Back in routine. That felt like the roughest daylight savings in a while. Like, I posted on my Instagram, a couple people were like, no, I'm dead too. Like, this is
I don't
not
know
working.
why. I don't know why. I'm glad it wasn't just me, though, because I was like, am I the problem? And I was like, no. Everyone else is tired. Everyone else is tired, too.
Yeah. It was just a really rough week. But then over the weekend, I mean,
was
it
like,
was just super...
Sorry, your screen, like, froze for a second. I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
No, do not do that.
No, it's good now. We're good.
Do not mess up my audio.
Sam doesn't want to go through that again.
No. I tried so hard. And I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I called you and I was like, what do I do? Like, do I keep trying? And you were like,
cut it.
What's easier? You're like, cut it. I was like, oh yeah.
I know. So guys, Sam was trying so hard. She was like, I really want to give them this audio and like, I really want to fix it. And I was like, hey, guess what? If we cut it, we can talk about it again. It's not like we forgot what we were talking about. We have the audio, even if we needed a little refresher. But I was like, no, I know exactly what we were talking about and what was cut out. Yeah. And guess what, guys? We talked about it a couple episodes later. So I was like, ma'am, make your life easier. You've already spent so much time on this. And she was like, oh, I tried. Okay, I didn't want you to be mad at me. And I was like, oh my God, no. Like, I want you to, like, I appreciate A+ effort. But. Thanks.
I should have just texted you, like, Saturday instead of all day Saturday, all day Sunday, whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
But that was like, I had a free weekend, so it was good. But last weekend I went to the barbecue Austin. It was very, very fun. We got there late because we all, worked. And we walk around, you get free barbecue, free drinks. It's so fun. We got crawfish this year.
Oh, nice.
I don't think I told you this.
No.
There was crawfish there and never before. I got a whole plate of crawfish.
Have you eaten crawfish
barbecue.
Before?
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
It is. But, I mean, if you get it good enough and with the barbecue, if it's good enough, I will take the time. It's like crab. Like sometimes you got to work for it, but it's almost, if it's good, it's worth working for it for how good it is.
Yeah.
So
I always say like crawfish is a lot of work for a little production, like a little reward.
A little bit of meat.
But if it's good, all day.
I can't. I'm a child. I'm sorry. It's a lot of work for a little bit of meat. How many things? First we have lick everything. Now we have a little bit of meat.
Oh, that was a good clip. That clip was, I died when you said it, and then I died when I was editing it. Good. I was like, this is, and then you put it on Instagram with the little tongue. I was like, this is good. This is good.
I forgot I did that.
We had a couple people reach out and say like, oh, I didn't know you had to like rip your hair out, like actually rip it out. Like we actually taught people forensics, and I was like, go us. So if you have any other forensic thoughts that we teach you, please let us know, or questions. I like forensic questions.
Yeah, I do too, because it's normal for us, but it's not. But I wanted to give an update. Wait, so do anything more about Barbecue Austin before I give my update on the surprise party?
I got a permanent bracelet, and it was gorgeous.
Oh, yes!
And that's it.
It is. It's so pretty. I love it. I love it so much.
I'll post a picture.
Bracelet picture here.
But there was a dairy-free pizza truck. I turned the corner, and I'm walking with my friends, and I turn the corner, and I see the Daya brand food truck. And I go, guys, look, like I was so excited, like nowhere else but Austin do you see something like this. But I was so excited. I went up and got 2 slices of pizza, like little baby tiny slices. And then I walked away, got the jewelry, was telling my friends, I was like, guys, you need to go get some. Like, I want more. They walked over and got me 5 pieces. I ate more pizza than I did barbecue, but it was delicious.
Good.
Have I ever talked about? Yes, I talked about that. I don't eat any dairy. Like, I haven't ate dairy
I don't know if we've talked. I don't know if we've talked about that specifically. Maybe we have. I don't know. You talk about it so much that I forget whether you've actually said it here or not. But in case you guys are wondering, Sam is dairy free.
Yes. We talked about like the colonoscopy and the endoscopy.
Oh, yes,
then
yes,
you
yes.
shish kebabbed over here. But yeah, I cut out dairy and changed my life. And so I haven't had any dairy in like 2 years. So it's very fun to see a dairy-free pizza truck at a place it's not supposed to be. But anyway, I want to hear more about your surprise party.
Surprise party. It was so good. It ended up being wonderful and great. And so I talked about his mom and his brother were maybe going to be there. They ended up not being there. Things just like didn't work out. So his mom went home. His brother had finals for his class like that weekend. He had to turn in like papers. And so he stayed home and wrote papers, which is gross.
Gross.
But so I got a nothing bundt cake and I show up and I couldn't. Well, and then I had balloons too. So let's just back up. So I wake up at like 5 o'clock.
You went way too far. Back up.
I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday to blow up balloons with a helium tank, right? Got the tank, like was getting ready and I got one blown up, cool. And I go to the second one and I was like, I can't do anything about this now. Like what? Like that was it. So I was like, all right, Chat GPT. Like, where can I bring my own balloons to blow up helium? Blah 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 blah. It was like, oh, party places, whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, I have to pick up the cake on the way. So when I got there, I like went in, got the cake, and I was like, hey, you guys had balloons online. If I have my own balloons, can I pay you guys for the helium? And they were like, actually, we can't do that. But a lady came in here the other day and was trying to do the same thing. And she goes, she went around to, there's a Party City right up the road. She was like, she went around to like 4 or 5 different places and no one would do it for her. And I was like, thank you for telling me that. I will just go buy.
Really nice.
It was so nice. I was like, I'll just go buy a helium tank. She was like, you can do that? I said, yeah, Walmart. I said, Walmart steals helium tanks. She goes, how many balloons does it blow up? And I was like, oh, I don't know. It depends on the tank. But I was like, I've used it for a couple different parties and like it just ran out. And she was like, oh my God, that looks like good to know. Like I would go do that. And I was like, yeah. So Walmart, key tip, has helium tanks. They're small-ish. They're smallish.
That's like literally perfect though, and I don't feel like most people know that. I mean, I didn't know that until this weekend.
It says on there it blows up like 40 to 50 balloons. 40 to 50 balloons is quite a bit of balloons. So I bought a tank. I was like, thank you for, I was like, I literally told her, I was like, you were the nicest lady. Like, that is very helpful. Because I said, I would have kind of ran around a bit and I don't have time. So I appreciate that you knew that and you shared because now you just saved me a bunch of time and I'm just going to blow up helium tanks. So I'm like kind of lying to him and not because I was like, oh, I'm like hitting traffic, like coming in with the construction. And really, I'm not. I'm like 5 minutes up the road from his house and I'm just running around. And he was like, oh, so you did the same thing that he did for my birthday, where he was like, oh, I'm getting gas.
Gone town early.
I'm getting gas. And I left my phone in the car, but really he was at H-E-B getting like cake and balloons and stuff and flowers at the H-E-B here. And so anyway, so I'm like running around. I grabbed the stuff, right? And then I sent a picture to his friend who was like, here's all the decorations. They're in this room. Blah, 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 blah. Yes.
Where did you blow up the balloons?
I didn't. I had his friend do it.
Oh, okay.
I said, hey, I couldn't. I got the tank. I have the balloons. You're going to have to blow them up. And he was like, I'll got it. I got it. Right. So there ended up being 2, 4, 5 of his friends, me and him. So 7 of us all together. It was really cute, really great. And so when we went out axe throwing and we went to dinner and then we're coming home and I was like, okay.
How was axe throwing?
It was great. It was actually really fun. We were joking. Because
oh God.
the axe throwing place had a digital screen, and so you picked what game you wanted, and it projects it onto the wood, and so you throw. They're really
Oh,
cool. It's like new. They have a couple in
that's
Austin,
cool.
but instead of just hitting the numbers, there's different games you
Yeah.
can play. So we're playing it, but the music that they had on, James was like, tell me this is for older people, or this is a 21 and over bar or place, without telling me this is a 21 and over place, because it was like jamming, like we were going hard with the tunes. It was funny. It was so good. Sax throwing was
Oh,
good.
good.
Dinner was great. And then we get home and I was like, okay, you have to stay in the garage. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I gotta get it. And he goes, can I go inside and change while you're like getting it out? Like I'll stay in the room. And I was like, at this point, his friends are inside. Everything is decorated, and they're waiting there. I got silly string for all the guys, so they could hit him with silly string when he walked in. And so, and I'm texting his friend. Yeah, okay. Like I was like, oh my god, we're leaving dinner early. I'll have to stall him. So I was like, can we stop by the store and grab like stuff for breakfast and whatever in the morning?
There
And so
you
like
go.
stalled going to the grocery store. So we're and then I was like, okay, we're on our way back. Like blah 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 blah. So he was like, I was like, no, you can't come in. Like, that can't
Like,
happen.
absolutely
And he
not.
was like, okay, I guess I'll go check the mail and come back. And I was like, okay. And so he leaves, I come in, it looks great. It's decorated like amazingly. They did a really great job. All the balloons are all over the place, streamers, banners, all the stuff. And they're sitting there, they're just waiting.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, guys, he went to go check the mail. So we have like 4 minutes. And some of these people I've only heard by name. So I was like, hi, I'm Bri. I know your name, but now I know what your face looks like. So great, like, hi.
Yep.
So he comes in, they surprise him. He did not expect it at all. He was like, I don't know what I was
You can tell
expecting
he had
from you.
no idea.
He had no idea. He was like, I don't understand how you even did this. And I was like, a lot of planning. A lot of planning, but he was very, very appreciative of it. He had a really great time. Everyone had a really great time. It was super fun.
It was really the video you have. He had no idea. He walked in like
no
like
idea.
whoa.
Well, and it
the
was
silly string also was hilarious.
because they stood so far away, didn't even reach him. So like, pew, like right in front of him. And I was like, guys, we didn't even get him. Like, you guys didn't want to like rush him at all a little bit. But yeah, he really had no idea. So I feel really good that I was able to pull it off because I suck at keeping secrets. As soon as I buy something for someone or I'm doing something for them, I get so excited and then I want to share it with them so then they can be excited with me. That I'm like, I have to keep this from you. Like, I'm so bad at it. So I was really happy that I was able to keep this from him and surprise him because it was really fun.
Yeah, you're not very good at surprises and gifts. We do this thing. It's called amnesia.
This is good. Yeah. I was like, where are you going with this? Amnesia. Can I do a magic
Or it's like,
swirl?
hey, what would be your favorite, like, what kind of color for phone case do you want? That was what she got me for Christmas.
Yeah.
And a million accessories with it, which was, oh my God, did I need it? But it was like, what color would you want? Blue. Amnesia. Like, nope.
But it's funny
Or we buy things together.
because we went shopping and you were like, what nutcracker do you? Because Sam didn't know that I have this thing with nutcrackers. That'll be a whole different story. But
Yeah,
we
we'll
were
do that.
shopping and I was like, oh, I have almost like all of them. And she goes, well, which one do you like not have? And I was like, oh, I don't have like these two. And she was like, okay. And she was like, amnesia. And I did really forget about them too. That's the thing is we buy it so far in advance and we're like asking each other that I do forget. And then I open it and then I'm like, oh my God, we bought this together. And you're like, yeah. So yeah, we do it all the time because it's so hard when you get older, especially because like if I wanted it, I would just buy it for myself. So like I don't go buy it for myself. And then I know that I'm getting you the color or the thing or the one you don't have. And I don't have to worry about like trying to vet out if you have this one or this specific thing or something. Like just amnesia. We just forget about it. We just wipe it. I forgot about that.
It just works. Like, if I want to go shopping and I need to go, we were going Christmas shopping and I was like, I need to go to a couple different places.
Yeah.
I want to go with you. But if I want to if my plan was to get Christmas gifts, you're part of the Christmas gift list.
I know.
I just need you to forget about it. And we're going to move on. So, one other thing that I want to talk about, since you talked about the axe throwing that made me think of it, did we ever talk about the active place or whatever that was called for your birthday.
Oh, I don't think we did.
That was that was so fun.
That was so good. I would do that. So it's called Activate Games, and there's only a few locations. And again, we can post a link below to like their website and stuff, but they just opened one here in Austin. And so we were like, okay, like I was like, this seems fun. You see all the stuff on Instagram. So I was like, I want to do this for my birthday. And so we went and booked a time, and you're there for an hour. An hour doesn't seem like it would be long enough, but oh my God, is it long enough? You get to the end of it and you're like, Are we done yet?
Full-blown sweating.
Like, it was a whole workout. So basically, there's rooms. I mean, there was what,
like
16?
10 on each side. So
yeah, 16 to
20.
20 rooms, and they each have different set of games. So like one of them is like the tiled floors, one of them has like dots on the wall, one of them has lasers, one of them has like tiles on the wall that you throw balls at. Like each room is laid out differently, and then you pick a game based off of the room that you want to go in. And I thought it was actually really nice the way it worked too. So you have bands, everyone that wants to play scans it, and if there's people in your room, they finish whatever level they're on, and then it gives them like a 5-second timer to get out, and then you go in. So it's not like people can sit in a room and hog it, and you just have to hope that people share. I like that if you're in the room, you can keep playing if you want. You can keep playing, you can switch rooms. But
if nobody's outside.
If nobody's outside, and if somebody's waiting outside behind you, then you finish your level and you move on. And then when you come back to the game, you can always continue on with whatever level you left off at. So I thought it was really nice. It was super fun. We all had a great time. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
It was really cool. Yeah. I would go back in a heartbeat, but you were sweating and there were so many different games. Plus, each room not only had like 5 choices, but they had 5 choices for competitive. You could play together. Competitive, you could play separately. Or cooperative, you could play together. Like... and that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that there was co-op games, that it was like you're a team, and then there was competitive where you're against each other. And I thought that was really cool.
In the same style of room, like all lasers, competitive or not. It was a very cool, highly recommend if you're here in Austin, or I don't know where the other locations are, but their website down in the description will have that. Yeah. In the link.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun.
That was another thing that I was thinking about. That was another fun surprise, or a fun activity.
Yeah. Well, and I like too, I love our friends. And I love the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, because you have to have people who want to do this stuff, because doing it by yourself or with one other person, it would be like, okay, but it was really fun in the group setting, and the fact that everybody went so hard. Like, when you get the one person in your group that's like, I don't want to do this, or like, I don't want to do that one. And you're like, can you just get with the program here or get out? Like, everyone in our group was like, I'm so, like, went ham. We went ham, and I loved it so much. I think that's what made me so happy about it, too, is the fact that, like, everybody was so into it. And I was like, I'm not the only nerd for wanting to do this. Like, I didn't just force my friends to come play games with me, and they were just doing it for me. Like, everyone seemed to really enjoy it, and I loved that so much. So, one, I love our friends. Shout out to all of you guys, but love our friends. We love games. But another thing this weekend, I had started my period Sunday. So the prize party was Saturday. Started my period Sunday. And I was like, well, fam, we made it one day. We made it. However, with all of this and like where it's at, I was so tired on Sunday. I was so tired. So tired. And it kind of goes into, and James knew that I was about to start my period, so he was like already kind of like prepped with like, he had a heating pad, and like we just sat and watched movies and like cuddled. So I loved it. I was so happy because I was like, I just want to cuddle and nap and just want to be a cozy little potato.
I just want to be a cozy little potato.
A cozy little potato. But me and you have talked about this, because I recently, in the last year maybe, have discovered, year-ish, have discovered the like women's hormone cycles. And I didn't know this was a thing. I had no idea it was a thing. And then I talked to you and you were like, no idea. And I was like, once I discovered this, it made so much sense of how I acted, my like energy levels, like things like that. So women in general have a 28-day hormonal cycle throughout their body, right? So if you think
Yep.
about it, and again, they don't teach you this stuff in school, but so you have, it
That's
starts,
why.
I know. So it starts with your menstrual
Okay.
phase. So, right, 5 to 7 days of being on a period. Great, cool. It's like you're tired, you might have cramps like this. You're obviously bleeding, like whatever. Then you have the follicular phase, which is right after it. So I'm going to read from this little thing and we'll post it. Basically, that's when you have a rise in energy, your hormones come up, like you want to try something new, you want to be social, you're outgoing, like that's usually like a week, right? And then you have
Mm-hmm.
ovulation. Ovulation, you're high in confidence. Your sex drive goes up. Like you're motivated. You have really, really high energy. Like you want to go do stuff. Like you want to go out. You want to do all the chores. Like you want
And you're
to.
trying to get pregnant at that time
Yeah. So
too,
your
like
body's like,
hormonally,
woohoo,
right?
let's go. Yeah. That's when
Yeah.
the egg is wanting to come down and be fertilized. So ovulation is when you can get pregnant. The highest chance you can get pregnant is when you're ovulating. That's why
Yeah.
there's like the ovulation trackers that people will do to like make sure they're ovulating. This also all plays into with your mucus, with like your discharge. So like, right, you're like
Mm-hmm.
have bleeding and then you have like it's not egg white is when you're ovulating. So if your like mucus or your discharge is like a milky, not a milky, it's like a white, almost like egg yolk, that's when you're
Yeah.
ovulating. That's when you can get pregnant the easiest because it's
Really?
not, yeah, because if you think about it, if it's thin and not as like strong together, the sperm can travel through it. But if it's like the more sticky mucusy, the sperm get caught and they can't reach the egg. So like when your mucus is the clearest and the stretchiest, looks like an egg white yolk, that's when the sperm have the highest chance of actually reaching the egg.
I have learned all of my every single knowledge of women's health from you. I know so little that when you teach me things, I I learned things.
Ugh. Well, I mean, that makes me happy because
Like
I was like, am I the dumb one who wasn't paying attention? So after ovulation, you have luteal. Luteal's the longest. Yes.
I have a question. The ovulation trackers, don't you have to like measure your temperature, like basal temperature or
I
something?
think so.
I see these terms on social media and I just feel like they're sticking a thermometer up their butt. And I don't know if that's right or not.
I don't know. I can look into that and get back to you. I don't know. I've never tracked it, but usually it's right after your
People talk
period.
about it all the time, but I don't know what it
Yeah,
means.
usually it's like a little bit after your period. It's like you end your period, you have like a few days, and then usually you ovulate, and then after you ovulate and you don't get pregnant, then you enter the luteal phase, and that's the longest that leads up again to your period. So like you might have like high intuition, but your hormone levels start to drop in anticipation of you getting your period again because your body's not pregnant. So right, so like menstrual, your hormones are all down here, and then you kind of spike up, and then you're like ovulation, and then you're like, JK, we're not pregnant. And you head back down. So as you get to the tail end of your luteal phase, that's when you start PMSing, you start getting really tired, your face breaks out, like things like that happen,
Mhm.
right? Once I learned this, I go, holy shit, I'm not crazy. I'm not psychotic.
Mhm.
I am so in tune with my body and where my hormones are at, and it's helped you too, because I was like, why the fuck am I
Oh
so
my God.
tired? And then I look and I'm like, oh, I'm about to start my period in like 3 days. No wonder why I'm freaking tired. And then like this week and the next week is when I'm like ending follicular, getting into ovulation. Jesus, if I can talk, getting an ovulation, but I can feel my energy levels picking up. I can literally, like,
Mhm.
I wake up and I have so much energy to go do stuff. And I'm like, perfect. I'm moving. I need all the energy I could get. Like, I could not
Yeah,
imagine
good timing.
doing that. Yeah, it like worked out. But I've learned to kind of plan stuff in coordination to where I'm at in my cycle. So if I know I'm going to be on my period, I don't want to go on a super busy fucking trip. Like, I don't want to go on a trip and go on vacation or whatever. And now if it happens, sure, there's nothing we can do about it. Great. But if I'm
Yeah.
planning when I want to do something, I'm going to try to plan it when I think I'm going to be in the best spot to do it. And then on the days that I know that I'm going to be at the tail end and the lowest point where my hormones are, I want to
Mhm.
have a movie night in. I want to just cuddle. I want to maybe have like an in-house spa day. Like I want to do crafts at home that are just like very
Yep.
sitting tasks and not standing tasks.
You teaching me like these things have really helped make sense because I've noticed like my anxiety is so much higher at the end
Mm-hmm.
and my like mood swings. Like I have an let me preface this. I have an IUD, so I don't have a period. So like in theory, I have no idea for solid proof of like when it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I never could realize what was going on. It just felt like I was looking at everything as a day versus like you were like, no, it's a cycle. Like start looking at it this way. And guesstimating when everything is made more sense to be like, oh, wait, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I feel like this, or this is why my anxiety is so much higher. Like mentally, I go in a cycle too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so like
Whew.
why they don't teach us this in school, right? So it was like you get your period, it's typically this long, here's a pad or tampon. They don't really show you how to use it. At least I wasn't shown how to use this. Like I remember the first time being like, what do I do with what now? And where does it go? Like, what is happening, right? And you're already like, you're bleeding, you feel gross, and the next thing, no one's telling you what to do. Yeah, you're embarrassed. And I'm like, I don't even want to tell anybody. And then you're trying to
Yep.
figure out, like, no one's like, hey, you should probably change this out every 4 hours or so, but it might be more, it might be less. You need to figure it out. Like, none of this stuff, okay? None of it, right? So you're just kind of experimenting with, am I bleeding through my pants and underwear or am I not? Like,
Yeah.
and then you get embarrassed by it. Well, fast forward to like when you have sex ed class in high school, it was like abstinence is key. That's the best way to protect yourself. This and this. And I'm like, great, but that's not what's going to happen. So can you teach me what would happen if I decide not to be abstinent? Like if I decide to not save myself for marriage, what is going on here? And I remember very little about it. So in your sex ed class, they were like, abstinence is key, blah, 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 blah. But no one taught us these things. And so I think it's important. Like I've learned this now and it's been so helpful. And I'm like, I don't even know if every woman knows this about themselves, but not only that, like, do men know this about women? Like, you always get the like, oh, well, she's crazy, and when it's that time of the month, then you know it is what it is. And it's like, if you would learn what we actually go through, then we're not crazy. And another reason
that
why,
like it's the time of the month, like
yeah, I hate
that's
that
not
so
an
much.
that's
I hate it so much.
I think it's so what's the word of like push off, like so dismissive.
Yeah,
that's the word I'm looking for.
Yes, I would agree. I agree. And so another reason why I love this man is he was like, oh, we're starting our period. Like, okay, like here's a heating pad and here's this. And like, Lex, we'll just cuddle and watch TV. And I was like, oh my God, that's all I want to do. And it was wonderful, wonderful. And I didn't feel like a crazy person or like a snobby little, snobby little lady.
Like where something was wrong.
Something was wrong. Well, even like knowing, because I use a menstrual disc now. And like love this too. So some people use a cup, some people use a disc. I like the disc. I think the cups are too big, but like whatever. Tampons, pads, all the things. I didn't want to put any. I got off of my hormonal birth control, and so now I have a non-hormonal birth control IUD, which is great. But the hormones after having kids, I could not get on hormonal birth control. I was absolutely like, I feel insane. Like something is not right.
You feel like something is wrong.
I was like, something is not right. And it is not like, I could not, whatever was happening. And the doctors really didn't believe me. They were like, oh, you just have to give it time. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, I do not feel good. I'm not doing this. Like, I can't do it. So not.
And you were on it before kids, right?
I was on it before kids and was fine.
Yeah.
But when you have kids, something changes in your hormones and all the things. Like shit happens.
Everything happens.
Shit happens. Everything changes.
Not some things. Everything.
Everything changes. So, hormones in general, I was like, I don't want a pad. I don't want tampons anymore because I'm over them. Like, let's try this, like reusable, whatever. Love the disc. However, you have to take this disc out that is now kind of full of blood and dump it down the toilet. I don't care. I deal with blood at work. I've had kids. I've had 12 people up in my business, in my stomach, in my uterus, up my vagina, whatever you want to say. Like, I don't care. Modesty goes out the window when you've had kids. Modesty leaves. It's gone. I don't give two shits who sees what now. Because everybody and their doctor and their mom has seen it. So you have to get used to doing that. And so again, I don't want to hide that from whoever I'm with. So I don't hide
Yeah.
that from James. We joke about it now because he goes, "Oh man, another murder victim gone too soon." Every time I like empty it or whatever, which is only once or twice a day, but he'll be like, "Oh, another murder victim," and I'm like, "Ho ho ho!" And it's funny. I
Oh
like
my
it. I
God,
think it's
that's
really cute.
hilarious. I didn't know that. That's
It's really cute. It's funny because, and again, he's not afraid of it. He's not ashamed of it. He asks like, "Hey, is there anything I can do for you?" But he also understands the cycles of men
Yep.
have a 24-hour hormonal cycle. So within 24 hours, they circle back and they start at the same point every day, and they end at the same point every day, and that's it. They don't understand that ours changes within a 28 days, not
Yep.
hours, 28 days ours changes. And so for men to understand it too, then you go, oh, I get it. This makes sense.
I think there's a couple reasons that men should know it. One, I think it would make them happier if they understood what was going on. You could comfort us better. I'd be nicer to you.
Yes.
I'd be more happy towards you. Another thing, stupid ass. Another thing that I learned when you started talking about like the 28 and the 24 is that men being on a 24-hour cycle, that is why the 9 to 5 system was built as a 9 to 5, because they had the most energy in the
Yes.
morning. And then by 5 o'clock, their hormones go and they want to socialize. And then it restarts. So they always have energy.
You're so right. I forgot
8
about
o'clock
this.
in the morning.
I forgot about this. You're so right.
That's the thing that drives me insane about the 9 to 5. I mean, there's a million things that drive me insane about it, but like one of them being that it wasn't built for women. Like we weren't working when the 9 to 5, when Henry Ford came up with the 9 to 5.
We just inserted
Like, we weren't
ourselves there. We just inserted ourselves and said, hey, we want to work. And then.
Yeah. Which
we're
is
like,
great.
Yeah. Great, yeah.
But like,
we're not like men though. I love it and I hate it at the same time. I want women to work, yes, but we are not built the same as men. Men are not built the same as us either. It goes both ways.
It's not supposed to be. We are built like this so we can have children, so the world can continue. If you don't have us, your population dies. Like, it's not meant to be the same.
Yeah.
We want equal pay. If we're doing the same work as a man, I want the exact same pay. That's the If I am doing the same thing as a man, I get the exact same rights.
Yep.
But it's okay if we're not doing the same thing and you're going to work and you're doing this because, or if I need to take a day off because I'm going crazy and I'm crampy and I'm tired and whatever. Where is that not health? Like, all the research that's most have ever been done has been on men because that's who studies were. So it's just so crazy. The more that you taught me about hormones, the more I learned about the male side of it and like the research and like what's been done. Like most of the studies, they didn't start doing studies on women until recently. Like, that's mind blowing to me. And not having a period is hard in the sense of like gauging where I'm at or where I'm at. But like, I haven't had a period in like 10 years. I don't want one right now. I don't want one right now.
I would love to not have one. Life would be great. Let me tell you, I don't think anybody on this planet likes to bleed.
Is angry. No.
I don't know one woman that's like, oh my god, my period. Yay. Like, unless you're like, you thought maybe you might be pregnant. That's the only time you're maybe like, whew.
You'd be real happy that day, yeah.
But I don't think anybody who is on birth control who still gets a period, aka me, because I'm not on hormonal birth control.
Yeah.
Great. It's just something that has to happen. Do I wish? Because the birth control I was on before, I would get a period once every 3 months. And that was great. So I got 4 periods a year.
Really?
Yeah, once every 3 months. You would basically take, but then I've seen other people. So this is where too, I'm like, who's wrong and who's right? Or is there not a wrong or right answer? Because it's like, you don't have one. Mine was a 3-month pack, but it was like, don't take the placebo pills the first 2 months, wait till the 3rd month, and then take your placebo pills. So again, I had a period every 3 months, but then I've heard other people go, my doctor said I don't need the placebo pills at all, so I just never take the placebo pills and I never have a period. And I'm like, who's right and who's wrong in this situation?
That's so interesting because I've never heard either of those options. I've always heard, because I've had an IUD forever. So like friends having it always were told to take the placebo pills every month. Like that's what they were told to do. So it's interesting that even you heard totally 2 different things than I did. Like you said you had sex ed in high school, right? And I think did you have one before that?
We had like the, hey, your period might come. Here's the girls all go. You parents had to sign a permission slip, say whether you could or couldn't go to this little like 1 day, few hour, basically like field trip, but not a field trip to this other classroom to be told about your period. And that was in like fourth or fifth grade. It was way before middle school. I was in elementary school. I don't remember exactly. I think it was in fourth grade, which was crazy.
Okay.
Maybe it might have been sixth or seventh. I don't know. Fuck, I was young. That's all I remember, and I was so like traumatized by it because I was like, "What's about to happen to me? What's happening?"
See, we didn't get one in high school. We had a health class that was like a quarter of a semester. Or maybe a full semester. But like we had health class, but that was like just more general health. They talked about birth like one time, but they didn't show any videos. Like they didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I had like a class in fifth grade, kind of like you said, like a field trip for a couple hours. The girls went onto one side of the library and the guys went to the other. I'm pretty sure it was like fifth grade. And I don't remember ever learning about a period. I must have, or my mom told me, but like from what I remember of that thing was like, this is what a woman looks like. Here's boobs, here's a vagina. Like this is what this looks like.
Yeah.
And here's like the but there wasn't any, you were so young that like there wasn't actual knowledge. And then we didn't get anything in high school. Our high school was very much like, our high school was very much like the goody two shoes high school, like out of the area. But we just like didn't talk about it. You just pretended that it wasn't a thing.
No, it was like
so
a
I learned
health.
nothing.
It was like a health class in high school, but I remember it being like sex education or like just health education as a thing. But then like one of the courses was like obviously sex ed. I don't remember much else other than it was like, make sure you eat vegetables and you do this and you do that. But it's like, great, thank you for that. But like, why did we not have in that same class, if we're going to call that, instead of calling it health education, why not have health education and then life education or financial education? Like, why not have the other things that matter? Because if I didn't have my mom and my dad to teach me how credit cards work and how to do your taxes and how to take out money in your W-2 and like savings and stuff like that, like I've had to learn all that stuff as an adult. But I know plenty of people that think that you put money on a credit card and the money just somehow goes away. And I'm like, no, babe, you have to pay that off. And they're like, no, you just put it on the credit card. And then, like, if you just don't pay it long enough, it goes away. And I'm like, no.
I had people recently.
Time out.
I had people recently. Time out. I had people recently tell me that by leaving a balance on your credit card, that was what was building credit. And I said, no, babe, you're just building interest.
Yeah.
You're just paying interest every month. Like, I learned so much. I give credit to my dad for this, is that he gets
one thing. He gets one thing.
So much financial knowledge. He's a financial planner. I have learned money my entire life. Like, I had a 401k, not a 401k. I had a 401k at 16. That's what I had to do to buy my dad's car off of him, was start a retirement account for me. Like, I've just always learned that, but like, you don't learn any of that in school. And I get in high school, you're not always like receptive to it, but I'd rather learn it and have just the most basic understanding of it to then go in college and then be like, okay, at least I've heard these words, like a deductible for health insurance.
Yeah, make it a class for seniors, because some people don't go to college. So after high school, they go out and they have if they don't already have a job, if not, then they're getting a real big girl, big boy job, and they're not going to college. Like, that stuff would have been nice to, like you said, a deductible, like having to kind of learn this stuff as you go. Again, if I didn't have my mom or my dad to get that, but then also like building credit. Like, my parents put us on a couple of their credit cards when we were 16 to start building credit. And then it was the same thing before, like credit cards that have 0% or you can transfer, and then doing coupons or like getting your like, make the system work for you and not you work for the system. Like, the system is built with all of these things that you can take advantage of, all these like, deductions, all these savings, all these like little minute, that's a new word of the day, little minute things that they don't tell you about, like homesteading on your home. Like, you can make your home a homesteading and it gives you a tax deduction, but they don't just tell you that. There's nothing you have to do for that except like literally put in the paper for it.
Yep.
But they're not willingly putting that out there, but if you know about it, then great. So it's like there's all these little things that you can do and you're not cheating the system. You're just working the system. The system has all
The
this stuff
system is
there.
there.
It's there for you to use it. You just have to be knowledgeable enough to go and use the system and not let it use you.
Well, you also have to be like, somebody has to teach you, or somebody has to direct you in a path, or like you learn like where you're at, or like you do these things. But if they don't teach you, like, you don't even know, you don't even have a direction. Another thing I don't think they teach, well, not I don't think, one thing they don't teach you in high school, college even, is like what the food groups actually do for you. Carbs, there's different kinds of carbs, fast energy and long energy. Like they give you energy. Veggies keep you full and satisfied. Protein gives you muscle building. Like they don't teach you that. They just say eat a vegetable. Like why? Why do I eat a vegetable? What's the point of eating a vegetable? Bri, on the other hand, didn't learn that in high school and still does not like vegetables. But that's
we're working on it.
a problem that we will fix later.
I've worked my way up to spinach, broccoli and soup, artichoke and dips, if it's mixed up. With me, a big thing with food has been a texture thing. So we've been working around the texture problem in order for me to eat my greens. So I do supplement it, people. I do put it in my drinks. So I'm still technically getting vegetables. I'm just will not eat
Is that good?
Yeah. Oh, it's delicious. I think it's great. I just put a scoop in
What
some
is
water.
it? Which one is it?
It is called juice, but with no I. So Juce. So it's Terrakai Organics. It's superfruit and veggie vitamin blend. So it has 64 superfoods. Yep. USDA organic, 100% vegan. The flavor is garden berry, but it has all kinds of stuff in it, and it's good for all kinds of things. Again, we'll link it. I get it off of Amazon.
I want to try it.
Here. You should try it. I fill this up, and then I might put a little bit of Mio, like a squirt maybe, and it's great. I mean, but I drink it all the time without Mio too, and it's good. And it's not like chalky.
I want to try it. So
it blends really well with the water. So yeah, but I mean, back to they don't teach you life stuff all the time in school, and so like I get it, but again, I think of like we had good parents at home that taught us relevant life information, but I know that there's so many people who don't have active parents at home, or maybe their parents were never taught that. So it's like people can't break the cycle if they can't find the information or know that they don't know the information to break the cycle. Like you can't be better at finances if you don't know that you're bad at finances and like how to fix that. You can't just Google how to be better at finances. Like that's not gonna.
No.
You have to be more specific. So I mean,
one thing that I would love to do is, I've said this for years, I've said this since I was in high school, I have a whole dream of mine of this, is I want to create a course that teaches, it's called Life 101, teaches high school kids specifically, I'd love to do college as well, but teach them these just basic words, these things that I wish I knew when in college, because like I went away to college, I started paying my rent, my utilities, like I started doing all of the adult things. But I didn't know so much. Like, and I always said, like, they should create a class in high school called Life 101. Like, I would love, I'm putting that out there into the universe, out to here, would love to create a course called Life 101 one day. Because I think that this topic is so, it was something that I needed, especially in college when I was doing all of this. Or I, like, moved to grad school in Texas by myself. Like, there were so many things that I didn't know that I had such a hard time learning on my own that I think a class would have been so, I mean, teach it in college, teach it in high school, teach it for adults. Like, why don't we do anything for adults? That's just a side rant.
Yeah. There was a YouTube video, and it was this older gentleman, and oh God, I'm going to try to remember the name. I don't know, but it was basically like things I wish my dad would have taught me, or things to learn from your dad. And he was basically like, hi, I'm going to be your dad of the day. Like, this is how you tie a tie, and this is how you do this, and this is how you fix a tire or fix a flat, or, and he has this whole YouTube video of just him doing everyday life. This is how you fix a sink if it's clogged. This is how you do this. Like everyday things that people don't know how to do. And so he basically just created all these videos, and he was like, I have all this knowledge and it's just sitting here with me. Like, why can I not, like, and that was his whole thing, was like, I'm just going to record myself doing this everyday stuff, like fixing a thing, fixing a door, a window, a car, a tire, like tying a tie, making a resume. Like, I'm just going to record myself doing this stuff, and maybe it'll help somebody who doesn't have a dad. I thought it was so cute, and I loved it so much.
I love that because one, YouTube has everything. You can learn
Mhm.
anything from YouTube. And I just talked to Hunter about this the other day. We were driving and I was like, I want to feel like a badass. Like, I want you to teach me, like, we've talked about this before. He's the handiest fucking person that I know on this planet. Like, I want him to teach me, like, I know a lot more now in the last couple of years than I ever did. But I want to be able to be like, you came home and I'd be like, guess what I just did? Like, uh-oh, I built a shed or I got chickens, and like I want to feel like a badass. And so there's things like that, like how to change a tire, how to do this, like that I want to learn. I want to be able to take a circle saw like he does and just go
I would love,
just like, oh, you just do this.
I would love to do that too. I have like two sides of it, because I would love, just because I love being crafty and handy, like buying stuff from IKEA and putting it together makes me really happy. I just love it. I would love to do stuff like that from scratch. And in my head, I think I know the ideas, but then I get not stuck, but I get in the like, I can do it. Dad has taught me a lot of stuff to be able to do it. Does that mean that I should do it? Debatable. Like, if I'm by myself, I will get it done. It will happen. Like, now,
1000%.
if I have a man around, we might cut this, and I kind of want to tell you about it first, and then we might put it in. I joke that there's daddy tasks and mommy tasks, and so if I'm having yeah, do you do that? Okay.
I say it all the time. We say girl tasks and boy tasks.
Oh yeah,
that's a boy job.
I go. That's a daddy task, and I'm having to do daddy things, and I'm not daddy.
Does your dad listen to this?
I don't know.
Your actual dad?
I will cut that one. Oh, no, we should cut that.
Mr. Williams, I need you to cut out of here for 10 seconds and then come back in 10 seconds.
No, because we
it's not like he doesn't know.
That's funny that you guys do it too. Okay, so yeah, there's boy task, girl task, there's mommy task, and there's daddy task. And I'm like, now can I do it? Do what I actually really love? Like, again, if it's like chicken coop or like doing stuff, like I would love that, but at the same time, I want to see the vision and go, I need you to build this for me. And I love knowing that he's capable of doing that. And then you can go build it, and then I'll do the finishing touches. I'll sand it, I'll stain it, I'll put whatever on it. Like, I can help install it. Like, but it's funny because I go, well, that's a daddy task. Like, I'm doing daddy things, and it gives me, oh my God, side note 20 of this podcast, mental mindset of like being in a feminine mindset versus a masculine mindset. So if I have to do, that's where I think I've struggled a lot this last week, and why I'd also needed to be brave, because I had to do a lot of calling utilities, installing this, doing this. Like, I had to do a lot of masculine tasks, and I went
masculine energy tasks.
Yeah, and I was like, I fucking hate, can I just make some fucking bread, please? Like, can I just bake some bread and go and cook and clean? And like, I had to do so much of the like ordering and the this and the measuring and all, like, I had to do all, like you said, masculine energy tasks, and it put me in such a horrible mindset. And I was like, I remember why I hate doing all this now, because I don't like this at all. I like doing the
I know that when I'm in that very masculine energy too, we've talked about this, like, that's when I'm the most anxious. Like, that's when I'm like, gotta go.
That's when I was irritated, and I was frustrated, and I was so on edge, and I was like, why am I on edge? Like, I was like, what is going on that I am so on edge? Like, I had no particular reason. That I go, oh, I've been doing all of this stuff. I don't like doing this stuff. It had to get done. Now, am I complaining that I had to do it? No, I had to get it. It had to get done. However, I don't like the mindset that it puts me in. Like you said, it's the control. I'm in control. I need this. I'm doing this and did this. That's
when my anxiety is the worst, is when I'm very much like in that, like, I got to keep something in charge. I got to do this, whatever. but I like the feminine energy of the creating and
Yeah.
like the like let the man do this, is where I like let hunter lead. Like that's what the man is supposed to do, right? Like it doesn't have to be, it doesn't all the time, like whatever. But that sometimes feels really nice when you're like,
You give
you
them a
do
vision
those
because
things.
we are the creative brains. We give them
Yeah.
a vision. Hey, this is what I see for this. This is what I hear there. And then they
Yes.
go, here's the practical. I can build that, whatever. Let me go build it.
Yep.
Here you go. And then you go, great. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go install it, or you're going to install it with me. And then we're going to
Yep.
turn it into exactly what I pictured. And then they go, I would have never thought of that. And you're
Ta-da!
like, ta-da, ta-da.
Yep.
It inspires confidence. I think that's something that, like, again, when I'm in that mindset and I'm in such a creative mindset, I am such a happier person, but I'm also less reserved, more confident. Like, I feel good about myself, where I'm okay to give up that control with the other stuff. Like, I'm okay to give up that control and be like, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna worry about this. I'm gonna tune into the creative outlet and be more free flowing and be more feminine in my feminine energy.
Feminine energy. I think, I mean, it plays full circle, like understanding where you're at in your cycle and your hormone cycle, and like learning those kinds of things helps you not feel like you're crazy. It makes you feel like like you're not spiraling as much, because you're like, oh, the reason I feel exactly like this is because I'm here. And then that helps you not be as like try to push yourself, try to be, because like when I try to push myself, I get in that masculine type of like in control. So I think it kind of all goes together, and I think it's been a big impact in my life, like because you learned it and you've been teaching me, and hopefully we've taught somebody something, like that helps make things make a lot more sense, and like I'm less hard on myself, and then I'm not always asking like, what am I doing here, like what is going on, like what's wrong with me. Like I think it just helps make everything make more sense.
I agree.
So I
What are
feel
we?
like that is a
Perfect. And I was gonna say, what are we doing here? We're talking about hormone cycles and how it affects us. That's what we're doing here today. So when you ask yourself, what am I doing? Where are you at in your cycle? What's happening?
what's going on in there.
I think it's a perfect end to this episode of just, like you said, full circle moment of what are we doing here? What is happening? What is going on in our bodies? What's going on in our mind?
And thank you so much for listening. Oh, don't forget to subscribe.
We forget every time. We want you guys
Subscribe.
to follow us.
Yes. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. And we'll catch you next week for episode 9. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
I never remember where it is.
Hello, and welcome to...
Oh, and then I gotta change. Oh, nope. Hold on. I fucked something up. Hold on.